We're at 20151 Hart Street in Winnetka, California, performing a video sewer inspection through the 4-inch main line cleanout in the front yard, right next to the water main area where the pressure regulator and water shutoff are. And we're going to pull back and take a look at all the joints. We're in the city sewer now, and we did run out earlier just to take a look at the line, and we had to run water to keep the camera clear and get the camera through. But now we'll pull back and we'll take a look at all the joints in the 6-inch and the 4-inch. That's the city sewer saddle connection. You've got a little bit of an offset. Got a little bit of an offset at that point, but not terrible. And we don't have any root intrusions in that joint that we can see. Then you get another offset at the next joint. Kind of hard to see. You can't see the entire joint because you're in the turn. But it appeared to be in fair condition. Then we have some root intrusion at the next joint. We do have what appears to be a crack just inside the joint. Just a little tiny bit, but again minor, and that's minor root intrusion at that 6-inch joint. Pulling back up, we've got quite a bit of root intrusion and got quite a bit of an offset at this joint. See, it's holding back water, and we have roots in that joint, and I can see the face of the piping on the right hand side is shifted. Coming back, that can still be lined. You could install a sewer liner. It does not need to be excavated and replaced. It hasn't shifted that much at this point. This is holding back water, and we've got some offset at this joint as well, but some of the water being held back is because of the concrete slag from pouring the joint as well. So again, that could be hydrojetted and blown out of there and lined if need be, but that joint is not terrible. There's only a few joints in the 6-inch that we have any issue with. That joint looks to be in fairly good condition. That joint has a minor bit of root intrusion, nothing to worry about, very minor, and the joint looks to be pretty tight and in pretty fair condition. That joint looks to be in fair condition. And this is all the 6-inch lateral in the street. That joint looks to be in fairly good condition. That joint may have had a minor bit of root intrusion, but still looks to be in fair condition. All maintainable at this point out here. That joint shifted quite a bit right here. We're going to go out and just locate and mark this area. You can see, you don't even see the face of the pipe. It's back up behind the other hub area. There was some root intrusion off to the left that may have been cleaned out. She got quite a shifting in it. We're going to mark this area real quick.
the other ones.
Okay, we've marked this area out in the parkway at 6 foot 2 inches deep. Now we're going to continue to pull back, and we've got a break just right back behind that. You can see off to the right there's a pretty substantial break. Right there's a piece actually broken out of the 6-inch pipe, and there's a crack right behind it. And 5 o'clock area toward the 3 o'clock area, and you also have a crack in the pipe at about the 8:30 area with root intrusion in that as well, and that is in the 6-inch lateral and can be taken care of at the same time. The other joint in the parkway is taken care of if you shot a liner in. I'm going to come back to our 4 to 6-inch transition. A little bit of root intrusion right back behind it, and this is in the sidewalk area. Now we're coming up. This is our stack, and we're coming back up. We've got a pretty large root intrusion right here. Can't even see the joint. We're in the turn, but we can see the face of the pipe right at the top of the monitor. So the face of the pipe is right here. We got about an inch offset right there. Just have dirt, pretty much dirt on the side of that, and that's where the roots are growing in. And again, that's not offset that much that it can't be lined. That's also in our 6-inch, and we're transitioning to our 4-inch. That's right at the sidewalk area. Now we transition to our 4-inch, and as I said here, just inside the hub, you have a couple cracks inside the hub. And I'm going to stop and just mark this area out real quick at 4 to 6. Okay, we've marked this area out just inside the sidewalk. This is our 4 to 6 inch transition. And we're going to begin pulling back further. And we have a pretty good offset there in holding water at that point. And we have it all the way around the pipe. As you can see, where the roots are growing in, that's not a joint. That's an actual crack, and it's going all the way around the pipe. And then you have a broken piece, the face of the pipe, it's broken here and separating. And roots are over at about the 3 o'clock area, and looks like they're going pretty much all the way around here to the 9 o'clock area. Then we have another pretty offset here, and you've got a crack inside the piping again, and you have roots growing through the piping itself, not the joint. You also have them growing through the joint as well on the left, growing right through the piping where the crack is. And the roots will get through the joint until they pop that pipe and break the pipe or separate it completely. And the next joint, we have root intrusion pretty much from the 4 o'clock area all the way around to about the 8 o'clock area. This is pretty common with older clay, especially in areas that were hard hit by the earthquakes in the past. This joint we have cracked all the way around inside the face of the pipe. And this one's pretty severe. It's not just cracked, it's actually separated. You can see where it's protruding from the other section of piping. That's the crack area, and then you have the face of the pipe right back behind it. So that piece is coming apart, and that's what happens when you get roots start moving this around and more earth movement. It will just separate it more, and then you start getting undermining, and then it begins to actually sever. It will shift until it severs. You can see right there. See it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming back toward the driveway area. And we've got another joint. This one's the same way. It's got a separation and a crack just inside the hub of the piping, and pretty heavy root intrusion on both sides. You can't even see the condition of the piping exactly at this point because of the root intrusion. But it's in pretty poor condition. Then we have a crack in this piping. Actually, it hasn't popped out of there yet, but you can see in the front it's broken on the right hand side at the 5 o'clock area to about the 8 o'clock area, and that piece will eventually pop out of there, and you get some root intrusion in that joint. There was pretty thick root intrusion until it was cleaned out. Then we have another piece of pipe where the piece and section of piping actually has at about the 5 o'clock area. That piece is missing right there. And that's what happens. It does pop out of there. It'll wash right down into the sewer, city sewer. And pretty heavy root intrusion in that side. And again, we have a crack just inside the end of the spigot of the piping. We have a little minor bit of an offset. And same thing with the next joint. We have a crack, looks like pretty much all the way around in that joint. Making a little bit of a turn coming. We have a shifting in the pipe. Kind of hard to see the joint exactly, but you have a shifting in the pipe right there. Pretty heavy root intrusion, and then pretty heavy root intrusion as well on the other side of the joint, and the next joint as well. It has probably bounced with earth movement and separated and cracked, and the roots are just coming in pretty strong right there. And the next joint, we have pretty heavy root intrusion again. Can't see the condition of the joint because roots are so heavy. Yeah, they're hanging down from the top, they're on the sides, all the way around. And the next joint we have some root intrusion. See the condition of the joint, but it is cracked. The pipe is cracked right back behind the joint, just a few inches. You can see the joints there, and then there's our crack all the way around. The crack is protruding, it's shifting. Pipe is shifting, and pipe starts coming apart, and we have pretty heavy root intrusion there, and then we have very heavy root intrusion at the next joint and an offset. And then we have a very large separation right here. You can see on the right-hand side of the screen, at about the 5 o'clock area, there's probably an 1.5 inch separation in that joint. And we have some root intrusion as well, and we have a very large offset. That pipe is shifted from the top. It's actually dropping down from the top. That pipe is very close to severing. Okay, we're going to continue pulling back. That's right in the grass area, approximately 10 feet from the main line cleanout, going out toward the driveway area. And that's a major offset. Next joint has a major break in it too, the same way that we have the edge of the pipe, and right inside of that we have a large crack that's actually coming apart. You can see where the roots are growing in through the crack and also through the joint. And then coming back toward the cleanout, we have a major separation right there. See the face of the pipe all the way on the right hand side, and a lot of root intrusion. That separation may actually be the crack, because the joint does appear to be got quite a few cracks in that section. And then we're pulling back up out of the cleanout. We got an offset at the bottom of the cleanout.
There's only a one-way cleanout, right?
Yeah. And that concludes our video sewer inspection.